अस्सलाम वालेकुम रहमतुल्लाहि व बरकातहू। जुम्मा मुबारक सबको जी मेरी तरफ से। जहाँ-जहाँ मेरी आवाज़ सुनी जा रही है, जहाँ मेरी तेरी शक्ल पहुँच रही है, उन सबको मेरी तरफ से अस्सलाम वालेकुम व रहमतुल्लाह। और नबी करीम सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम की हदीस मुबारका है कि क़यामत के दिन अल्लाह ताला के पसंदीदा तरीन बंदों में से एक बंदा वो भी होगा कि जो सलाम करने में पहल करेगा। तो हम वैसे सलाम करने को बहुत ईज़ी लेते हैं, इसको हम उस तरह वैल्यू नहीं देते। लेकिन एक जुम्मे के हिसाब से मैं आज आपसे ये बात भी कहना चाहूँगा कि कोशिश करें सलाम में पहल करें। एक तो इससे मोहब्बत आपस में बढ़ती है, और सेकंडली जो बल्कि ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट चीज़ है वो ये है कि नबी करीम सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम की सुन्नत मुतहरा पर हम इससे अमल कर सकते हैं। Today I'm going to start with the validity, reliability, objectivity and representativeness in research. So I mean, in my previous lecture I told you a lot about the consideration, theoretical consideration, practical consideration and ethical consideration. So our today's topic will reflect the outcome. For instance, we got something through our research, so how important our result is and how can we reflect our result to get different objectives. And it is important to know, I mean, whatever the result we have, I mean, there are different kind of results. It could be qualitative, it could be quantitative. So there are different branches, there are different aspects of a result. So through today's lecture, I'm trying my level best to give you a sort of insight, I mean, which kind of validity, representativeness we can have in a form of result. So let's begin. Validity. An important aspect of the relationship between theory and methods is that there is no general agreement about how to collect data about the social world. Different methodological approaches develop their own ideas about the scientific sociology. Sociological research is also complicated by people's awareness of both themselves as the object of research and their relationship to others, such as those carrying out the research. It is further complicated by the fact that different sociologists see the social world differently. Human relationships have a moral dimension, and this moral dimension extends to the way we believe should study human relationship. So according to this paragraph, I mean, there is a couple of points we need to understand. First of all, whenever we talk about sociology, I mean, it's a social science. And whenever we say a social science or a social subject, it's always difficult to explain the exact meaning of it. I mean, why? Because sociology is the study of people, study of society. So every single person has a different aspect to observe. A person, for instance, if you see something, like it's a very famous example, you see a glass of water, the one can say it's a half glass of water, some say it's not full. So this is the same way the sociologists take different social issues, different social problems in a different perspective. So when they take any issue in a different way, a different perspective, and it is possible, it's quite natural to observe something differently, and secondly to apply different methods. In sociology, you are not bound to adopt a certain method, so it's simply your choice. I mean, either you want to opt this or that. First thing. Second thing is that it's all about interaction. Whenever a researcher plan to research something, I mean, one plans to have some sort of data. So it simply depends not only on that person who is going to research, but at the same time, more importantly, the respondent have more vital position, more vital role, I mean, in the whole process, because it is the will of a researcher or the respondent how to collaborate with each other. So once you have a collaboration, right? Sometimes a person stuck. Collaboration with each other. So it's then, I mean, after the joint venture, then we have a positive or a good result. Even though, I mean, it's not confirmed. I mean, the respondent, the way he's responding, or one is responding. So what will be the outcome? God knows. We can't say anything for sure. So it's first of all, it's all about the person who is conducting the research or the respondent. So both need to gel together to have a good result. So what is reliability? Reliability refers to how effective a research approach is at collecting consistent data. This is related to whether a researcher can check the accuracy of their data by repeating or replicating the research. If they get two different answers, the research approach is unreliable, and any conclusion drawn from it will be limited. Reliability can be improved by standardizing the research approach, as this allows less scope for differences. to occur in the way that different researchers ask questions and collect data. If a standardized approach is used to collect information from people who have the same or similar characteristics, the same study results should be achieved each time. What is reliability according to the dictionary? This generally refers to the effectiveness of the research approach in generating consistent data. A researcher can check the reliability of their research by replicating the research to see if they get the same or very similar results. So what is reliable? जैसे हम कहते हैं Dolan's reliable है. So why it is reliable? Because what is reliability means? Reliability means is, for instance, we are conducting a survey on different people of a same colony or a same community. So I mean, there must be a standardized methodology to conduct that data. If we have standardized process, obviously then it is possible to get the same result. So reliability basically means the consistency of the same result. One thing. So reliability is all about consistency. One thing. Secondly, reliability refers to the same result, the same outcome. Thirdly, reliability simply depends on certain things. And one of the most crucial, one of the most important factor is the standardization. The standard, we need to follow a specific standard, the way we conduct our survey, the way we are dealing with the people according to a standard way. So if we have a standard procedure, obviously we will get the same result. So I mean, if we keep on replicating, keep on copying, keep on observing, and you are practicing the same questionnaire, practicing the same, you can say, the methodology, so it is possible the outcome will remain the same. So this is all about reliability. What is validity? Validity is a further concept that is used to assess different research methods and data, albeit one that has numerous forms designed for different applications for one current purpose. However, we can outline two basic types. So there are two different. First of all, you need to understand what is validity. Validity means, for instance, there was a person, who works so hard on a specific issues, who works so hard on a specific research, and the outcome, the person is taking that result consistently, because they simply believe, I mean, the person is genuine, he never told a lie, he is the kind of person who can be you can say his result can be replicated each and every time. So validity means how accurate the data you people have, and obviously this simply believes on a person who is not biased. So there are two kind of validity we can have. Construct validity refers to the idea that methods and data are only useful if they actually measure or describe what they claim to be measuring or describing. Unemployment statistics, for example, may or may not have a high level of construct validity, depends on what they claim to measure. So there are two kind of validity. First one is construct validity. What is construct validity? It's not about emotions, it is all about the statistical data, right? So when you have a construct validity in a specific research, it means you are referring to statistical data. It's, you are not putting your input, I mean your feelings or emotions, whatever you see, you simply collect and you simply put it in your survey, nothing else. So this is called construct validity, right? It's about statistics. Last time I mentioned you, like census, I mean, you can't put anything for in it. You simply, what is it? It's all you need to just simply add the number of population and nothing else. And there are certain, obviously certain terms we can have, like birth rate, like death rate, and stuff like that. So the second type of validity, it's ecological validity, refers to the extent to which research method reflect the world being studied. The idea that the closer we get to the study people in their natural environment, the more likely we are to get valid data. Questionnaires have low ecological validity because this type of research may be unusual and strange for most respondents. Covert participation observation, on the other hand, has much higher validity. So what is ecological validity? It's all, no, this is what we have. I mean, it's all about emotions, it's all about the interaction within the people. So ecological means, for instance, I'm just outside, I'm on the field, on the ground, I'm asking people about different stuff. Okay, so then again we got two things in ecological validity. First of all, if we interact people, I mean, if we simply show them our original identity, that we are this, we are with the mic, okay, you need to tell us something about, for instance, your marriage life, you people having, there is an age difference in marriage, I mean, there's a cost difference and stuff like that. There's so many things, issues are involved. I mean, especially when I talk about the Pakistani community or Pakistani society, there's so many things which are there, which is unnecessary, but still they work. I mean, they still have a lot of influence on our society. So ecological validity, it's all about the emotion of the people, right? We have different kind of issues when we got different type of methods to get data from people. Question is one of them, but according to ecological validity, I mean, it is not, you can say, the optimistic approach to have a lot of questionnaire from the people, because there's still the shyness. People are reluctant to answer. I mean, obviously, in front of a camera, they are not ready to give you the exact, because there are certain pressure of society, certain pressure of the family. There are so many pressures, unseen pressures on a person when he is going to answer your questions in form of questionnaire. So this is not the right choice. But if you simply hide your identity, and you first of all try to win the trust of your respondent, and just try to be more friendly with him or her, just to ask different questions, and then whatever you get, it is more valid. So it means, according to ecological validity, it refers to the atmosphere, to the ambience, to the environment we are providing to our respondent, to have a exact, or you can say have a genuine knowledge of data. Clear? This is ecological. So especially here it is mentioned, if you are going to have covert participant observation, this is ideal. But still, you know, we are talking about sociology. Still there's a lot of questions, why and what. So obviously when you go with the covert participation observation, so there must be a question, there's a pop-up a question, I mean, what about the morality and what about the ethics? Still we have a question on that. So this is the validity is useful concept, because it reminds us to consider the accuracy of the different data types: primary, secondary, qualitative, and quantitative. There is a wide range of validity tests that can be applied in different ways. Official statistics have construct validity. As I mentioned earlier, statistical data, numbers, digits, it's all reflect constructive validity, right? Brahman suggests that this problem can be limited by respondent validation. The subject of the research are used to check the validity of the researcher's observation and interpretations. This can improve the credibility of a study, but it is not without its problem. Emerson and Polner, for example, suggest these issues include respondent. We are talking about the respondent. Just see, failing to fully read or understand the research. Sometimes it's possible. I mean, you have given a questionnaire to a respondent, and he's not able to understand what is the exact context of the question. Secondly, being unwilling to criticize the research because of friendship with the researcher. Obviously, we have a good friendly relationship, and I ask you, okay, this is a questionnaire. Why don't you answer me the way? So it is possible, if we are on a friendly terms, you are not ready to answer the question which annoy me, which make me angry or furious. So there are certain things which are involved if we want to get a valid answer. So there are certain hurdles or reluctancy. So the next thing is the objectivity. You know, whatever we do, it's crystal clear. When we talk about the objectivities, is it important? You know, it is important to understand the social problems. Why we have a research? Why, you know, because we want to get something positive out of our research. Whatever we want to conduct, there are two kind of data. It's for the dozens of time we talk about that. It's qualitative and quantitative. Yes, it is important to have a digits in our research, but more importantly, if we go for a remedy, go for the solution, then we need to know the emotion, the background, why people are doing like that, why people behave in a different situation like that. So the objectivity of a research is very important. So for instance, obviously when a person is spending a lot of time, a lot of money, and he is interacting to a lot of people, but if there isn't any objectivity, or the objectivity is, we find a research with less objectivity, obviously this is just to fulfill the wishes of the researcher rather than the respondent. So I mean, research is important, but the main or the prime thing we need to understand when we are conducting a research, the objectivity. We need to learn something about objectivity. If we are able to understand objectivity of a certain research, then we are able to find a solution or find a remedy. So this is we have in objectivity, and there are two kinds of objectivity we need to discuss in it. First, pure objectivity is an ideal that can never be attained because all research, social and natural scientific, involves some degree of value commitment. See that, I mean, it is impossible to get pure objectivity like utopia, you know. I mean, one of the ideas which Plato gave us. I mean, he considering a state, I mean, in which every single thing would be perfect, but obviously you can't get perfection in anything. So when we talk about the pure objectivity, this is a kind of standard. We can simply write it down just to have some sort of guideline, rather than it is impossible to get the pure objectivity because there are certain limitations in everything. In everything qualitative, there are certain limitations. Qualitative, certain limitations. Even a covert participation, limitation. Overt participation, limitation. Focus interview, limitation. So they are always, when we are involved in a research, I mean, there must be some sort of limitations which are there. If sociologists recognize how value impact their work by identifying the assumptions under which they are working, this research is less value laden, more reliable and valid than the opinion of the non-sociologists. So I mean, it is important. Whatever we do, we need to. The only one thing we need to understand is the. I mean, you need to be pure. You need to far away from yourself, your personality, your personal ideas. When we are conducting a research, don't put yourself, your ideas. Don't try to get what you are wanted, rather than just try to get what the respondent are ready to give you. So this is all about objectivity. And the last thing we have is the representativeness. In broad terms, representativeness refers to two related ideas. The characteristics of the people used in a sample should accurately reflect those of the target population they represent. Positivist, for example, see representativeness as the ability to generalize observation made about one relatively small sample group to the much larger target population it represents. The importance of the representativeness can be illustrated by example of postal questionnaires. Response rates for this research method are almost invariable low, which can create problems in two areas. There is an increased chance of sampling error created by an unrepresentative self-selected sample, a sample that selects itself. Those who bother to reply, survey-based research based on an unrepresentative sample will lack validity. The finding of the research cannot be validly generalized to the target population. So it's representativeness. What is this terms tell us about? Um, I mean, first of all, it's sociology. It's always difficult to get the 100% or a perfect result, but still we can try for it. So, what is representativeness? Representativeness means it is a very difficult task to get. You know why? Because, for instance, I'm in a university, okay, and I'm just trying my level best to have a very balanced target population or a target sample I take. For instance, 50 girls, 50 boys, and just simply asking different questions about the gender, about the social issues. So even though we are in a university, we have a very balanced or equally managed survey, but at the same time, it is more than possible that we conduct a survey in UOG, University of Gujarat. We are not able to have that result, that mentality, that credibility, that outcome we can find from LUMS, Lahore University of Management Sciences. So see, it's the same, university versus university, students versus students, but still there's a great gap. There is a gap of values, representativeness. We can't, the data we get from the University of Gujarat, it is not possible to have the same data, or we can't impose, generalize, or standardize that data we were getting from UOG, and we can't apply to LUMS. So I told you before, I mean, it's all about university versus university, student versus student, but there is a different level of understanding, approach, mentality, knowledge. So there are so many factors which are involved. So representativeness, it's possible to say, you can say that, for instance, how Muslims celebrate Eid al-Azha or Eid al-Fitr. Yes, we can have some sort of, you can say, sort of representativeness. Why? Because most of the people, most of the Muslim, you can say that in Asia, they have shalwar kameez on Eid days. Yes, we can say that, right? Most of the people living in South Asia, they have a same kind of sweets. I mean, the way you can say Muslim observe fast and the way they open their fast, right? It's almost similar. Dates, milk, juices. So they are, but this kind of research is not that important. You know that what I mean to say, because we can't get out of it except a very small kind of information about. So as we have a very deep in study of any research, I mean, it is always difficult to have a very representative results. So representativeness, it's very important. And when you go with the when the sampling, I mean, you need to be very clear, you need to be very conscious about the study. So once you make up your mind to understand, I mean, what is the importance of representativeness, it's always there, always there. You need to restrict yourself, you need to try to provide the same ambience when you are conducting a research. So if you have a standard methods, if you have a standard ambience just to observe something, then it is possible that you can get a research from respondent, I mean, which can be represented. But as I mentioned earlier, and the last thing I'm going to say is, it's always difficult to have a very valid and representative research. Jazakallah and sallallahu alaihi wasallam.